Welcome back. On to some international updates now. At a time when the Epstein files are being made public in the United States, questions are now being repeatedly asked about the equation that the current U.S. President Donald Trump shared with Jeffrey Epstein, his now disease-convicted sex offender friend in the past. Now, Trump's own sexist and lewd remarks about women, however, continue to be scrutinized even today.
When Donald Trump was running for president for the very first time in 2016, many questioned whether he's fit to lead America. Hillary Clinton, who was running against him, called him a sexual assaulter. And this audio conversation from 2005, which went viral in 2016 during his presidential campaign, is why she said what she did.
I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and... She was married.
It's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy.
Yeah.
No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like but I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big and she's totally changed her look.
Trump apologized but also dismissed this conversation as locker room talk. He was described as a misogynist and an assaulter by his critics, and his past continues to be under scrutiny. While there's been endless speculation about whether Donald Trump features in the Epstein files, something he and his supporters have consistently denied, it is no secret that he and Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted child sex offender who's now no more, had known each other well at one point in time. They did fall out before Epstein's first arrest, but according to reports in the 1990s, Trump did get rides on Epstein's private jet. And sample what Trump said about Epstein to New York Magazine in 2002. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. The question therefore is, could Trump have been unaware about the darker side of Jeffrey Epstein? In 2004, Trump and Epstein also presented rival bids for the purchase of Maison des Amitiés, a French Regency-style mansion by the ocean in Palm Beach. Trump won that bid, paying $41.35 million for that mansion, and it was reportedly one of the reasons why the two may have fallen out. It is also claimed that Trump broke with Epstein over the latter's inappropriate behavior with the daughter of a man Trump knew. But why many in America and elsewhere are outraged over Trump is not only because of a prior friendship with Epstein. It's about his own conduct, his own proclamations, his own sexism and lewd references to women. There was outrage when he appeared on a radio show in the 2000s and talked about his own daughter Ivanka, referring to her as voluptuous. Not just this, in 2017, Samantha Holvey, who was Miss Carolina in 2006, told a network that Donald Trump, during an event before the pageant that year, personally inspected each of the contestants. But look how she describes what he did. He would step in front of each girl and look you over from head to toe like we were just meat. We were just sexual objects, that we were not people. You know when a gross guy at the bar is checking you out? It's that feeling. Elon Musk in June this year claimed Trump's name was in the Epstein files, a claim he would retract later and Trump would rebut him as well. But now that a large tranche of the files have been made public, the Democrats in the United States in particular have been up in arms, saying that what is being revealed is largely information that was already out. But is there any more information or even a client list that is being concealed? That's a question that many are asking. No stranger to controversy, Donald Trump may not be too worried about any Epstein connection from the past, but the questions over why a man who speaks about women in such lewd and disparaging terms remains president continue to be asked.
Well, there seems to be a meltdown moment that has been captured during a tense moment. The U.S. President Donald Trump, who seems to be shouting when confronted with a question about the Epstein files. The unexpected outburst left the room stunned, with the Polish president sitting along, visibly shocked and staring in disbelief. Now, this heated exchange highlighted Donald Trump's volatile reaction to a sensitive topic, adding fuel to the ongoing controversy surrounding Jeffrey Epstein.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now, D.C., it's a totally safe zone. It's called a safe zone. So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein whatever.
Well, it seemed President Donald Trump was visibly upset, calling the demands that his administration release the Jeffrey Epstein files as a mere distraction from his successes. As you just heard him mentioning that he wants to take credit for what he claims that he stopped 7 wars from happening. Unfortunately, he says that nobody seems to be giving him credit for that. However, when it comes to the Epstein files, well, that seems to be a meltdown moment. The U.S. president's reaction that came in, as far as on camera, the sudden outburst has left everyone stunned. And as far as Donald Trump is concerned, he has been calling the Epstein whatever case as a hoax. Let's in the meantime also talk about how the protest that has been taking place, because the Epstein survivors now are taking center stage and rather are now demanding that all of the Epstein files be made public and they be released. The survivors now seems to be digging in the heels and fighting back, saying that there should be no leniency and no deals. This is what the survivors are now counting for as the pressure now grows to release all the files. The rally that seems to be happening at the Capitol Hill demanding justice for the Epstein survivors. So a group of victims, when we speak of the notorious sex offender Epstein, who has now called for those documents now to be publicly disclosed.
To any survivors out there who feel like they don't matter, it doesn't matter if you went once or countless times. We were groomed, we were manipulated, and we were taken advantage of.
Yep.
For decades, survivors have been suffocated by speculation. We've been mocked, we've been doubted, we've been re-traumatized. Why don't we deserve justice? This is not partisan. However, this is very political, as the only path to justice is through our political system. And every time new promises are made, our sparks of hope are lit, only to be extinguished again. We are tired. However, we are not going away.
That's right. Well, the Epstein enigma seems to be catching up with the President of the United States.